oddly enough, God did not speak to me concerning our relationship when we were dating. Like, he didn't give me a yes or no about you.
Really?
I definitely prayed about our relationship, but I did not get a specific answer from God. His answer to me was an answer of peace. If you watched our first video, we said that God gave us peace about each other, and that was like a green light for us to move forward. We believe God speaks to us. In fact, we know that God speaks to us. So today's video is just going to be kind of like a video for encouragement to get to know God for yourself and then start to expect to hear from him, because he has a lot to say to you. We are going to be sharing some of our experiences of when we heard God's voice. So the first encounter I'm going to share is when I was in college. I was actually walking back to my dorm from class, and I can't remember if it was hot outside or how I was feeling. I can't remember how class went that day, but for some reason I was just ready to get back to my room. I didn't have a car, so yeah, I had to walk to every class. So the story is, I was walking towards my dorm, and I see a girl who also lived in my dorm. She was walking, we were meeting, and she was blind. She used like a walking stick, and I just said to myself, I gotta make it to this door before her, because I don't want to have to help her. I'm just going to go upstairs to my room and be done. So I hurried up. I walked a little bit faster than normal to try and beat her. And all of a sudden, I heard, hold the door open. Hold the door open for her. That's what God spoke to me. And I was so sure it was his voice, because it stopped me in my tracks. Not literally, but it what's the word? It like grabbed my attention.
Yeah.
Like, I could not ignore it. That's how firm his voice was to me. So I said, well, okay, God, I couldn't deny. I just did what he said. I got to the door before she arrived, and I held the door open. I waited until she came down the steps. I let her walk first into the door ahead of me, and then that was it. I just want to say I felt good. I felt good doing the right thing. And now I find myself wanting to do the right thing more and more, especially when nobody's around. Nobody's watching me. I'm still going to do the right thing because I know God is watching. And his opinion of me is the only opinion that truly matters.
Right. Absolutely. That's so true. God is always speaking. God is more interested in talking to you than you're more interested in hearing from him.
Yeah.
And secondly, how do you hear from God? You hear him through the word, through his word. If you cannot recognize his voice through his word, you will not be able to recognize his voice when he speaks to you in your heart.
Mm-hmm.
So everything about the Christendom, it's about faith. First of all, you have to believe that he is speaking, and you have to be very accustomed with the pattern, his character, the way he speaks. Let's say, for instance, you have your dad and his friend in a different room, right? And then you're maybe in the sitting room, and then you hear a voice call your name.
Yeah.
Of course, you should be able to recognize your dad's voice. So in your walk with God, in your relationship with God, you're able to differentiate the voice of God, just like you're able to differentiate your father's voice when he calls. That's how it works in the Christendom. One of the most recent experience I just had was in January. We had 21 days fasting, and we were praying. We came together as a group to pray. So there's this group called Momentum in my church, and we came together to pray. And while we were praying, in the praying section, I was leading the prayer section, and God just opened my eyes, and I saw a white skin that had rashes all over, but I couldn't say anything while I was praying because, man, I'm just new. I really don't know how they would take it, how that works over here.
You don't want to do too much.
I don't want to do too much. Yeah, that's the word. So I just kept it to myself, and I continued the prayer. So after the prayers, I went to one of the leaders. I said, this is what I saw, and I need you to pray with me. I saw a white skin that had rashes all over and all of that. She confirmed to me that yes, it's actually her child. That one of our child sons is experiencing this right now. And that brings a confirmation. So that tells you that God is speaking at all times. And then there's always someone out there. It might not be someone physically with you, but there's always someone out there. So it's important as a believer you pay attention to his voice, be aligned with the pattern and his character. Of course, you know God is love, God is peace. So he brings you an answer of peace. He speaks peace to you. Right. So when you hear a voice, you should be able to differentiate, is this God speaking to you? And you do that by looking at his word. Everything you need, every guide you ever need in this life is in his word. So if you're able to identify his voice through his word, you know when God speaks to you. And the more time you spend with God, either through prayers or through studying his word, the more you understand the way he speaks. So my advice is just get to his word. Just get to know him more. Have a personal relationship with him.
So the second experience I want to share is shortly after I graduated from college, I was at home, y'all. I did not have a job for 1+ years, like almost 2 years actually. I was out of work, and I'm sure you can imagine it was a difficult time. Um, so just to give you a bit of background, when I was in school, I majored in fashion merchandising. I had a passion for fashion. I wanted to be living in New York. I wanted to be living it up in NY. I wanted to be like a fashion stylist or working for a major fashion magazine. But unfortunately, it didn't turn out like that. I ended up applying to a bunch of retail management jobs, and it was just hard. So I decided to use that time to develop my relationship with God. I wanted to grow closer to him. I wanted to find out his heart on my situation, on what I was going through. Like, what do you want me to learn from this, Lord? So I started to read. I started to read the Bible more and pray more, and he really started to pour into me, and I in turn poured out to others. Y'all, I was sharing the word almost every day on Facebook. Like, my posts would be paragraphs long, sharing what the Lord was showing me. What's ironic to me is I was in a tough place and I needed encouragement, but God used me to encourage other people, through Facebook. So one day I was in my room. I think I was praying. I wasn't really, doing much of anything else because I remember a storm had passed through that day and it caused us to be without power. So I was just in my room praying. I was talking so much. I'm sure some of y'all know what I mean. Like, that's a relationship when you can talk to God like you talk to your friend. I just remember hearing, start a blog. He told me to start a blog, and it's I didn't question it. Like, I was excited because I would have never thought of that on my own. I was just thinking, oh, Facebook, I'm sharing on Facebook, that's enough. So it turned out great. I think I blogged for maybe 2+ years, and then I stopped and I started a community on Instagram.
She even had a design, a logo, beautiful logo for it.
Yeah, like
God. What was the name of Fruitful Vine? Yeah.
So the first one was called Lit for Jesus. That was the name of my blog. And then Instagram is Fruitful Feed. So yeah, I mean, God created us to create. So we are to share his word. We are to share what he's teaching us. Look at me now, guys. I am on YouTube. I'm doing something that I never thought I would do. Yeah, like, for people who know me, they know I'm shy. I don't like talking much, and it makes me cringe sometimes to see myself on camera and to hear my voice. But this is also God breathed. He didn't speak to me, and he didn't tell me start a YouTube channel.
Remember, I told you.
Yeah, like, my husband was telling me that he could see me on YouTube sharing the word, and I didn't believe him because I liked to stay in my comfort zone, in my shell. But now I'm doing something that I never thought I would do, and it's fun. Like, of course, I had to pray about it because I was on the fence. But once I prayed about it, what did God do? He gave me peace to move forward, and I'm enjoying it. So
yeah, it is important you enjoy what God has called you to do. Just like my
yeah.
wife mentioned, he said we're created to create. I like that word. We're created to create. Yeah. So that brings me to my second experience. This happened recently, some days ago. Usually I wake up really early in the morning, sometimes 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 o'clock, depending on guys, I don't sleep.
He doesn't.
So one of the praying times, I was just praying, and the next thing I saw a button. I saw a button, perfect button. You know, the button on the clothes. I saw a button, and then I saw the second one scattered all around,
It
like
was broken buttons.
broken buttons. I'm like, God, what's this?
Why are you showing me buttons
Why are you
on
showing
a
me
shirt?
buttons? Because that's me. I'm always inquiring. I want to know what he is talking about. You know, that's the only way I can know what to pray about. That has really helped me. That helps you to direct your prayers, to know what to exactly pray for. You know, so I was asking him, what's this, Lord? And he said, the button you saw up, the perfect one means perfection. You know, means everything is complete, means wholeness. And the unscattered means the unscattered one means disease, means um, troubles, means unsettlement, just different stuff like that. So that just made me know what to pray about. Okay, it might not be, sometimes it might not be for you. When God shows you something,
Right.
sometimes it might not be for you. I remember when I started saying things, when He started opening my eyes, I was scared, because I was seeing random things that doesn't have to do with me. So I went to one of my friends who is a pastor, and I asked him, why is God showing me this? So he made me to understand that it's not for me sometimes, it's for someone. So once you see like that, stand in the gap. Stand in the gap, meaning pray for that person. Begin to pray towards that area. Trust me, he speaks. Pretty easy. All the time, he's speaking. But the problem is, we as sons and daughters, we are not paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
We are not paying
We're
attention.
distracted.
We are distracted.
There's so many distractions around us. Get quiet sometimes before the Lord. Like when you're praying, don't just end the prayer and go on about your day. Like get quiet, find out what He is saying to
Just
you.
meditate on his word. Meditate.
Yeah, because
You know,
like you heard from our stories, He's trying to get something accomplished through you. Like He could be speaking to you to help you, but sometimes He might want you to pray for somebody else. Like He wanted my husband to pray for anybody out there who is experiencing brokenness, so that they can come to know God and become whole. That was the purpose. So it's very important to listen and to remain open. And then once you do hear from Him, obey what He's telling you to do.
so let's say he said move to Texas, and you're refusing, you're disobeying. So if you now refuse to go to Texas, you miss a lot of opportunities. And then if you now decide to listen to his voice and move to Texas, there are opportunities waiting for you in Texas. Men will come to help you because you just obeyed simple instruction, move. So it's in the process of you making a move that he begins to speak to you. So that tells you, oh yeah, if I'd refused to make a move, I won't be experiencing all these beautiful things.
He makes provision. Like
There are opportunities. He makes provisions already for you before you get there. So you just have
take
to,
the first step
right,
by faith.
by faith, because the Christendom is about faith. We just believe. We just need to believe. That's the only option you have.
Right. Man, I wish God would speak to me in visions. It seems like He speaks to you in visions,
It's in
and He
stages.
speaks to my heart. So that's amazing, guys. We just wanted to encourage you really quick to grow in the Lord, get to know Him through His Word, get to know His character, and be expectant of His voice, because He will speak to you. He is speaking to you. So thank you so much for
Thank you,
watching. We hope you
guys.
enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Stay tuned for our next video.
Bye
Bye.
bye.